Okay. We're so excited to see so many people here today. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started with the Cheney Cemetery Association meeting. And I had emailed our minutes from last year's meeting. I hope everybody got a chance to read them. If not, you can certainly reach out to me by email or phone, and I can send those to you. So I'd like to ask for a vote to accept the minutes of last year's meeting.
I'll do that. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like to ask you to mute yourself after you've voted here so we don't have any interference.
So just introducing the board, I'm the person on the left, and Rick Cheney on the right is our vice president. He's unable to be with us today, unfortunately. And then Kristen, you have met. She is our treasurer and secretary. And then we have one of two Dexters here today. This is Dexter Cheney, my brother, and he is a director. And Kate Chappell is with us virtually and also a director. And Austin Cheney Smith, director, is sitting next to me, so you'll get to see him in person shortly. And Tom Myers was with us for the board meeting, but had to go on to another obligation. And he is living in Vermont and will not be with us today. Nat Cheney is sitting right here across from me and will be engaged in our discussions along with everybody else. And Andrea Learned is a director, has come, she gets the long distance award having come from Santa Rosa, California. And then the other Dexter Cheney here is Dexter W., and he is a director and has a business in northwestern Connecticut. So these are the topics that we're going to want to cover. I'm not sure what I need to do in the welcome, except to say how happy we are that you have come to join us today. It's very hard to keep a large family scattered all over the country in touch with each other. And I guess I'd say that one of the things that was really terrific was to get so many of you answering our survey, and it's helping us to try to shape the organization in a way that is meaningful and helpful to all of you. So we're all Cheneys, and that's something.
Right.
I'm a token Cheney.
Okay,
So yeah, I've been adopted.
So I think what we'd like to do is run through some reports that tell you the state of the association, and then we'd like to open it up for discussion so that we can all talk and find out what your questions and your ideas are. So why don't we proceed to the reports?
Audit report.
Oh, so I'm going to start with the report from the treasurer. And this may be difficult for some of you to see because it's pretty small on the screen. And I just wanted to let you know this will be included in the minutes, so you can take a look at it And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm easily reachable. So if you look at our total income, you'll see that this year, this 2023, we had $39,909, and last year was $32,600 and change. And then our operating expenses are divided into two groups. We have the care of the grounds and the administration. The expenses for the maintenance of the cemetery and the cemetery administration come from interest accumulated by a Raymond James investment account, contributions by members, and membership dues. We also have a Vanguard asset management account that we can easily withdraw from. Our expenses typically are more than the income generated from our investments, so we debit the Vanguard account to cover this. Our greatest expense is typically the care of the grounds. We do have a second account, and that's the Cheney Family Fund. This is a donor-advised fund administered by the Hartford Foundation. This account is the source for the annual donations that the cemetery makes to local nonprofits. And Carol will report on the donations that were made in 2023. So let's see, you'll see our balance sheet with our savings and our Vanguard, and then also our Raymond James account, bringing our total assets in 2023 to $1.97 million. 2022 was about $1.8 million. And this just gives you our liabilities, which we have our accounts payable, retained earnings, our total liabilities and equity. And then the summary of our funds, we do have a tree replacement fund, which we withdrew some from in 2022. So moving along, this is our detail of expenses, and you most likely can't see any of this. However, you'll see that the total administration, there's two big numbers. This total administration dollar amount is about $19,000, and the care of the cemetery is about $57,000, excuse me. Bringing our total expenses to about $77,000 for the year. This is something that I've added in this year, and it's our other income section, which is a much more complete picture of the year. You'll see the change in market value, dividend income, and interest income makes our total other income about $242,000. So after our expenses, our net income, which is a better picture, is about $156,000. And that concludes the treasurer's report. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm reachable by email or phone. Thank you.
I would observe that a big increase in the value of the investments is hardly income. And it can disappear overnight.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, that's conforming to the accounting standards, which
It is.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It isn't terribly useful if it goes up $100,000 this year and down $100,000 next year.
And in prior years, it's gone down significantly more. You know, so it's very, very.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you for noting that. So we'll move along to the audit report,
Okay.
which is going to be read by Austin.
Okay, we have examined the financial records of the Cheney Cemetery Association for the year ending December 31st, 2023, as submitted to the audit committee by Kristen Merrill, Secretary Treasurer. This examination includes all payments from the checking account backed by invoices and authorized by Carol Cheney or Richard Cheney. Also examined were all security transactions authorized by Kristen Merrill and executed by Raymond James and Vanguard. We have found the treasurer's report to be substantially correct. I would say correct, because I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything to nitpick. So anyway, that's where we're good. I would love to have, if Jerry would like to weigh in on the other part of the audit report, I would love you to repeat your standard audit.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Well, I have a
Kristen, could you take down what's on the screen so we can see the speaker?
I'm sorry. Yeah, let's just see. I can, give me 1 second.
That's better.
Yeah, there you go.
There's
So go ahead.
Austin was referring to a sample audit report. Something like this. The undersigned has cooked the books of the subject organization to the ultimate state of the black art of accountancy and can state with certainty that all of the bodies are buried to a depth sufficient to ensure that no odor shall reach the surface, no matter how far advanced the putrefaction.
This is Jerry's famous quote that we like to hear every year. Okay, so moving back to. Okay.
I think you're doing better. I usually had a couple things I had to bury.
So next we'll have our investment report read by Nat Cheney.
Well, this may be longer than is necessary for this meeting, so I'll just quickly summarize that. For years and years, Jerry and Austin primarily ran the investments by burying the bodies where they could, and but it was a volunteer effort to manage by picking stocks and bonds for the association. And about 2 or 2.5 years ago, we finally concluded that there was too much risk in that. The numbers had gotten too big, and we were getting too big and too old to do it properly. And so we decided that we needed to have some sort of professional management of our investment accounts. So I, having retired from Raymond James, talked to my successor, who offered services both to help us develop a strategy and then to manage the money. And so about 1.5 years ago, we moved the investment accounts to Raymond James in a program that uses outside managers to actually manage the money. Our first attempt at that last year was to create an account that invested in market index funds, and the idea was that we could create a mix of those that would more or less, which would adhere to our strategy of modest growth, while at the same time giving us some income. What we found was the income wasn't really enough because many of those index funds invest in technology stocks that don't pay dividends, and so we were not getting much in the way of income to offset the Cemetery Association expenses. So now about 1 year ago, well, actually at the end of last year, we decided to make a small change in that and get an active manager that would be buying stocks and bonds that actually paid us something. And unfortunately, we don't have any performance results so far. I will say that the performance in terms of the capital gains and losses last year, market was actually pretty good, and the total account was up about 14%. This year, we don't yet have statistics, but according to the statement that was just rendered a week ago, we have $25,000 more than we started with. So we seem to be after paying out income.
I'm hoping that the entire account is invested in NVIDIA.
Yes, that would be nice if it were. But that does raise one of the points that we are trying to make sure that the account is properly diversified so that we're not running
unintended risks of concentration in one stock that might sink us if NVIDIA ever decides to go down the toilet.
Not have a good quarterly earnings report.
Right. So that's part of the reason for the professional management, because it's their job to make sure that it's properly diversified to avoid those kinds of risks. So far, the account seems to be performing well, and probably in a month or so, we'll get our first quarterly report on the performance that we can share with the membership. So that's my report.
Great, thank you.
I read us up we were professionals.
We're the lapsed professionals. That's the problem.
Lapsed professionals.
So the grounds committee report, I will
Should we
read.
get that report approved, or don't we need to do that? I don't know.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Just give me 1 second, I seem to have misplaced the grounds committee report. I'm reading for Rick. I had misunderstood him and thought that he was gonna be. Here we go. Okay.
Do we need a motion to accept?
Yes, oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
Moved in second.
All those in
Got a
favor?
second
Aye.
already.
Aye.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this report for Rick. Overall, 2023 was another kind year to the cemetery. We were spared any major damage from the storms we did have. Only minor cleanup was required. However, the mild winter did prevent Barry Dolby Mountain Tree Service to safely get his equipment into the cemetery grounds to prune out some much needed dead wood from our trees. This is the second year, and I apologize. I just want to go back and share this screen because I want you to be able to see. We have a beautiful video of the grounds that I want you to see. So just go here. So these are photos taken by Paul Horton that we've put in a little video of the cemetery, so that you can watch that while I'm reading. Let's see. Okay, this is the second year in a row we planned for this service, but we're unable to be performed. This is a double-edged sword. Mild winters are easier on the grounds budget, but alas, the work needs to be done. Our contractors continue to have labor shortages, but we're still able to take good care of us. The headstone cleaning project I did last year by applying Wet and Forget continues to be very successful. I will plan on applying another application next year. However, I will train one of the executive lawn care staff on how to do this so that I don't have to carry the 4-gallon backpack sprayer around the cemetery, something better suited for someone younger. As I mentioned in last year's report, this product is approved by the Veterans Administration. I had Kevin Reagan and his crew from Executive Lawn Service do some extensive pruning of the lower bushes. This was to reveal the headstones and protect them from unwanted moss. They also did a great job of tackling the overgrowth area just as you come into the cemetery from the southwest corner, which included the removal of a large grove of poison ivy. Nasty, nasty stuff. A tree in that same landscaping pod was also removed. The area looks great. Carol and I also had Kevin shrink the size of the mulched area inside the main portion of the cemetery around the oak tree. This end results with the new grass now having set and looks great and will save us money in the future. Frank's Landscape Construction installed the 2 granite benches, both inside the main portion of the cemetery. They look awesome. Carol is working on having plaques made up, and I will help them get installed. We are still looking into a brick paver project and the scope in which it will entail. I would like to get some additional guidance on this project, as I have concerns over the total price of the project. I had Barry plant 11 trees in 2022. These were planted in the woods parallel to the East Center Street and in the woods on the east side of the cemetery. 2 of these trees did not survive. I have asked Barry to replace them. I've asked him about replacing them with a mulberry tree tempered to our climate. I would like to extend my thanks and appreciation to fellow grounds committee members Dexter Cheney, Vice Chair, and Carol Cheney. Additionally, I'd like to extend our appreciation to Barry Dolby from Mountain Tree Service, Kevin Regan from Executive Lawn Service, Town of Manchester, East Cemetery Grounds Crew, Green Carpet Lawn Care Service, and Frank's Landscaping for all their hard work and dedication in making the cemetery look great. In conclusion, I'm very pleased to report that the state of the cemetery remains in great condition. Please take the time to walk around, and if you see anything of concern, please reach out and give me a call. And he gives his phone number and his email, which I'll share in our minutes. And he also has a budget for 2025 that is available for anybody to review, and that's submitted by Rick Cheney. And I make a motion to accept Rick's report.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we'll move on to the Cheney Family Fund donations, and Carol will talk about this.
Yeah, we're in a really wonderful position to keep the Cheney sense of philanthropy going, even now, all these years later. And we have a family fund that's managed by the Hartford Foundation, and we tell them the donations that we'd like to make, and then they handle the management of it. So, and last year we had almost $25,000 available to give out. So we're ready for the next. We gave $2,500 to the Little Theater at Manchester, which operates out of Cheney Hall. And they have produced 3 major dramatic works each year, a total of more than 1,100 performances, playing to a total estimated audience of 300,000. This is a very important community asset, and especially they have survived the pandemic and are keeping going, and we're helping them with their operating expenses. In 2017, we established a memorial prize to give at Cheney Tech in memory of Howell Cheney, who founded the school in 1915. And 2 students are selected for their ingenuity and their commitment to the community. And the kids last year, Clara Zuniga was in digital media, and Logan Lysiak was in precision machining technology. And it's quite thrilling because I get to go to graduation and make these awards, and the kids don't know in advance that they're getting an award and also a $1,000 check. So it's pretty meaningful. We give money every year to support the Cheney Homestead, which is owned by the Manchester Historical Society and run as a house museum. And there are always things that are needed in a house museum. And so it was nice last year to give toward a new program, sort of putting a spotlight on women in the Cheney family who weren't really talked about as much as all the guys working at the mills. And we gave $2,500 to the Hartford Artisans Weaving Center, which is now doing workshops and weaving instruction in the Cheney Machine Shop, which is right there at Pine Street and Hartford Road. And we're very proud that our director, Mary Cheney, the mother of our director, Kate Cheney Chapel, was a founder of this organization, and they specialize in working with elderly and blind weavers. To the Mary Cheney Library, we gave $3,500. We're very proud of this library because it has the highest circulation in the state of Connecticut, except for Greenwich, which is a much richer town. And they do a community reads program that attracts hundreds of people. And they've asked us last year to support that program again, which we did. And in 2022, we endowed a scholarship for Manchester Community College, which has, we put in $5,000 a year, and they are now accumulating enough money in this to make small grants to students, and that will just simply grow over time. And here you can see a photograph of the culinary and hospitality group who put on these amazing dinners twice a year to thank donors for their support. And my brother and I went to the most recent one, and it was like 9 courses. We had to lie down afterward. Okay. And then we give $2,500 to the Connecticut Museum of Culture and History, which changed its name from the Connecticut Historical Society. And they have been digitizing the Cheney family collection of photographs. And this grant is to help pay for that. And you know who that is? Who in the picture is shown Sarah Otis Amory Cheney with infant Frank Dexter Cheney from 1905, and one of the pictures being digitized.
Wow.
Okay. And then finally, we gave $2,500 to the Wadsworth Athenaeum for their Follow the Thread campaign. They're reviving the textile and costume collection and have hired a curator and a technical assistant to completely go through the collection of over 8,000 objects, including a large selection of Cheney Brothers silks, and also items given by the Cheney family. They're documenting and cataloging. They're working with conservation team on a long-range plan for housing. And then they too are digitizing objects in the collection for online viewing. And then we have given $1,000 to the Manchester Sculpture Collection Project. They are having bronze statues made of notable people from Manchester. And the next one to be done is Emily Cheney Neville, the book writer who won the Newbery Medal in 1964 for the first book that she wrote called It's Like This, Cat. And she went on to write many more books and is a beloved writer from our family. So if you take a look at our lifetime giving from the time the fund was established in 1995 to now, we gave, at the end of 23, we had given $676,410 for all of our worthy causes. So we're making an impact on Manchester and Hartford.
Jerry, am I right that this was established with 250,000? How much did we set aside originally in this fund?
was originally 250,000.
So it's well more than that, and we've also given out 640,000.
Well, first, immediately after it was established, $50,000 went for, I think, upgrades and so on to Cheney Hall.
Well, and it's interesting that also our investment account started with $80,000. And it's now at 1 point, whatever it is, 8, 7, yeah. It's kind of fascinating to look at.
It's all your fault, Jerry.
So now Carol's going to read the president's report, and I'm going to stop sharing so everybody can see each other. Here we go.
Okay. Well, presidents are the people who tend to their organization's myriad unrelated matters, while members of the board handle the specifics, and you've heard about what they do in the reports that you've heard today. So this year I thought I'd do something a little different and relate a few events in 2023 that stand out in my mind as memorable in my leadership role. 2023 was the bicentennial of Manchester's founding, and there were numerous celebratory observations through the year, although not a parade, which would have been a Cheney Brothers standard. I had a banner made that stretched across the Cheney Cemetery gates in honor of the annual Manchester Thanksgiving road race, and I got a picture of it before someone absconded with it. Maybe we should be flattered, but I was really annoyed. We directors have been learning about green burial this year, which is fast becoming a preferred way of interring departed loved ones that is kind to the environment. There's no cremation and no vault. The body goes into the earth unimpeded. We will be offering this choice at the Cheney Cemetery in an area specially designed for the purpose. You can learn more about that on our website. In February, for fun, I reissued a Cheney Brothers marketing piece first published in 1918 and now in the Cheney collection at the Yukon Library Archives. The Why Do We Call Them Polka Dots booklet tells the true story of the naming of this pattern. Cheney Brothers was genius at marketing more than 100 years ago. And speaking of vintage, I was given 2 books of numbers and proceedings of the Monday Evening Club, the Hartford Men's Literary and Social Society, formed in 1869. Many of us are descended from Frank Woodbridge Cheney, who lived from 1832 to 1909, the son of Charles Cheney. The following is a broad and esoteric range of papers he read at their dinner meetings from 1873 to 1908. It sounds like he would have been working on some kind of doctoral thesis. His topics were Japan, silk, present condition of the South, tariff, inventions, clothes, the panic, the drink question, relics, Underground Railroad to Canada, St. Francis of Assisi, art for talk's sake, and after the panic. It's really an extraordinary array of the topics of the day. On one of my visits to our burial grounds, I came upon a sodden clothes, paper, and important correspondence strewn all over the northern half of the cemetery. I tried to imagine the state of mind of the frantic person, a female, who would abandon and destroy such important and personal information and items. I gathered it all up took it home and set everything out to dry. The next day, I took the repacked knapsack to the Manchester Police Department. The officer's offhanded comment was, "Oh yeah, we know her." It made me very sad, the whole thing.
Right.
On June 13th, I attended Howell Cheney Technical High School graduation. The Cheney Family Fund annually awards $1,000 prizes to 2 students who showed up, showed ingenuity in their work, and who contributed to the school community. I had a proud Cheney podium moment in front of 400 people, and that made me very happy. It also makes me happy to help cousins place family memorabilia at most museums. After Hope Cheney Learned Colt died on May 18th, 2023, her son Ward and I talked about artwork, tableware, books, and other objects for which we found new homes at the New Haven Museum, the Manchester Historical Society, the Connecticut Museum of Cultural History, and the Wadsworth Atheneum. So Hope's memory is honored by Ward's gifts in her name to these various institutions. This year, in 2023, that is, there have been broken valves in the cemetery's irrigation system, a tour of American woolen mills in Stafford, the honoring of Kate Cheney Chapel and me in a new installation, Women of the Homestead, bi-weekly work sessions with Kristen, visits with Platt cousins in Cornish, New Hampshire, and thinking up social media posts for our website. There's always something new and unplanned that shines a light on the Cheney family name and heritage. And skipping ahead, early in 2024, we surveyed the association members to learn more about what you want from your membership. And we're making changes to reflect your input. And that's my report for 2023.
What did you do in the afternoon?
Bravo, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
Oh, sorry. And now we'll just ask for your vote to accept the reports, and we will adjourn and everybody can see each other. Somebody make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There we go. Now I'm gonna make everybody. There.
Can you go to the screen that shows all of the?
Yes, I can change that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
so
I will. Just do that. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yay.
Oh,
Hi, Rick.
Sure. Okay.
Oh, I can't hear you, Rick. I think you're on mute. I didn't realize you were there. I would have not read your report.
Could we say their name and have them wave?
Could everybody, could we start with Kate maybe, and everybody just say their name and hello and wave? Oh, I think you're on mute,
I think
Kate.
you've muted
Have I
everybody.
muted everybody?
Perhaps
Let's see.
the hand of God.
I don't think so. Let's see.
Say their.
Are you-
say
can we
a
hear
name
you
and
now?
they can wave.
Let's start with Kate Cheney. Can
Yeah.
you wave, Kate?
I think I just muted.
Okay.
What about Prudence?
What name did you say?
Okay, I'm off mute. Hi, everybody. I'm so proud of Carol. I'm just so proud of everything she's done and all the rest of you, but I'm speaking up for Carol right now. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Prudy.
Faith Morris?
Hi, coming from California. This is my first meeting, so I'm just glad to know this was happening.
Hi, Kate.
Charles Dennis.
Hi, Charles Cheney Dennis Jr. This is my first meeting. It's great to hear what the association has been doing and learning more, and I look forward to more involvement.
Where does he live?
I live in Hurley, New York,
Ah, okay.
in the Mid-Hudson Valley.
Oh, nice.
Ernest Durazio.
Here. It's my first meeting as well. I'm Ernest Durazio, son of Prudence Durazio, grandson of Thomas Cheney. And I've never been involved, but I was very curious, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that Ernest has called in from Hong Kong, where he's been living for almost 10 years.
Wow.
I think I got the new distance record. Yeah, it's about midnight.
Oh,
I don't want to take too much time here, though. Continue.
thank you.
Meg Dennis.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be part of this. Thank you.
I think, is there Ken? No. Rick Cheney.
I think I got my mic working now.
Yeah. Those are the ones
And
I.
Meg, where did you call from, Meg?
Oh, I'm in California. Like
That's
my-
right, you mentioned.
so
Okay,
yes.
great.
Mhm.
Yeah, excellent.
And then did Ken introduce himself?
Oh, yes,
I think
and
so.
Kim Cheney.
Hi, this is Kim. Thank you, Carol and Kristen, for keeping this going. Like some of you, I've only been to 50 of these meetings. And I'm just getting the hang of it finally. But it's a great pleasure to see a tradition carried on. And Carol, when you get the chance, I'd love to get the picture of the on the State House lawn of the great grandfather put there of the Andersonville boy.
Oh, yes. I owe you that.
So maybe we'll go around the room here too and introduce ourselves. Jerry, do you want to start?
Jerry Fisk, Treasurer and Secretary Emeritus.
I'm Nat Cheney. Kim is my brother. And I'm the Investment Management Committee. Dexter Cheney. Well, there's two of us here, but I'm a little bit younger. And I'm on the Grounds Committee, and I live in Northwest Connecticut. And my dad was Edward Cheney.
I'm the other Dexter Cheney, and I live here in Hamden. I'm on the board of the Grounds Committee and the Donations Committee.
I'm Andrea Learned. I'm John and Terry Learned's daughter, and I live in Santa Rosa, California, and I'm on the Communication Committee.
And I'm Carol Cheney, and I live in this house where everybody is meeting. And we're also happy to have all of you coming in virtually. It's really a joy to be able to know that we're reaching Hong Kong, for goodness sake.
Our empire expands.
Anyway, I sort of run things.
She runs things. She doesn't sort of run things. Anyway, Austin Smith, Audit Committee, and I want to thank Carol for her hospitality.
And I'm Kristen Merrill. You all know me. I'm Treasurer and Secretary.
She really runs things.
And all
Carol and I
the all-encompassing guru.
Yes, I try to be.
What are some of the highlights for you or questions that you'd like us to think about at our next board meeting?
Or maybe we covered everything.
Any thoughts? Kate has something.
I was quite intrigued by the paper, the titles of the papers that you mentioned in your report, Carol, that Charles Cheney wrote and presented at the Monday Evening Club. Is there any way to access those? Would there be any possibility of publishing them on the website or a link to them or whatever?
I think so. Yeah, I will check with the people who now are taking care of the Monday Evening Club papers and so forth. And it was Frank W. who gave those papers. And
Oh,
I'll find
yeah.
out that and let you know, because it's pretty fascinating. And they certainly did more than drink scotch in those evenings. The papers are several pages long, each one of them. And I will see about getting that circulated.
I think
love to read
I
them.
remember hearing a story about how R.O. Cheney used to send the train down to Hartford and pick up Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, and bring him up to join for those meetings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if anybody had heard about that rumor or story, but that was passed on to me by both my father and Doug.
I'm particularly interested in his comments on Japan because, of course, he took that trip over there at the age of, was he 21 or whatever?
Yes.
And that had to be some terrific experience when he went over with 2 years of the company's profits in his pocket to establish relationships.
Yes.
There was no telegraph in those days.
All right.
Carol, I have a question. I think Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, was part of the Monday Evening Club. Was he a regular member?
I do believe he was a member, and there were several other eminent people. I could write up a little thing about this and send it out to you.
Well, my curiosity was arisen with the story of the Spencer rifle and Mark Twain's story of Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. Because I think in a way, Frank Woodbridge was a Connecticut Yankee in Abe Lincoln's court for a while. And in the sense that he brought technology to a level that hadn't existed before during the war. And it was just curiosity running through my mind. I think they're connected. If anybody could, I like my own speculation sometimes better than history, but if somebody can come up with some backup for that, I'd love to hear it.
Okay.
I know I have a signed autograph edition, complete edition of all of Mark Twain's work. And that's been passed on through the family.
Oh.
I did that door. Yeah. The glass with the birds on it a little bit. Oh, thank you.
I don't know.
Does anybody else have any comments or?
Well, I just have Kate, you had or Kristen rather, you had you read my report, so.
Sorry, I didn't know you were on the call.
No, I was having also, apparently Google and DuckDuckGo don't like each other, so. I finally got it through on Safari, but, and my apologies for the delinquency there, but a couple of things that, one thing I'd mentioned in the report is that we had cleaned out that opening as you're walking up from the dirt road and you're staying to the west. Was a grouping of plants, a lot of poison ivy. We ripped all that out. We cut down a tree And as of this morning, I just talked with Barry Dolby, and he has secured and is going to be planting in that pod there a weeping mulberry tree. So we're going to try to bring back a little of our history. So,
Excellent. Excellent.
just something to look forward to, along with the beautiful benches and grounds.
I'd like to make one more suggestion. Thank you, Rick. I'm really excited to see it in person. I was wondering if we could enlist the aid of those who are here today to get the younger generation to add names to our family tree. And I am one of the more delinquent ones. I've got 11 grandchildren and numerous children, and I just want to know a step-by-step to add them to the tree. And I wondered if others would be interested in that for their next generations.
I think that's a perfect question for Kristen.
Yes. So the easiest way to do that is to just email me all the information.
Okay.
Their birth dates. You can also let me know if somebody's passed away so that I can add that date. Yes, just full names and birth dates. And I'll add on to Ancestry. We have a goal of down the road potentially moving that family tree to our website. So that's something that may happen so that people don't need to have a membership to Ancestry to view it. But in the meantime, the best way is to email me. I'll put them on Ancestry and then they'll be there forever.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kristen.
Passed away if they were
Yes.
freeze dried or not.
And also if they're married, it's really helpful to have the full name of the married person.
Hold. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
We're done.
I think we may be done. So now, Ernest, you can get some sleep.
Yeah, I'll try to. Today's my birthday, so I may go back out.
Oh my God.
Good. Happy birthday.
Hey, go have fun.
Birthday.
Well, Hong Kong's a good place to go out and have fun at any hour.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
That's cute. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is
Take care.
great.
Have a great summer.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great summer.
Stay in
Bye,
touch.
all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Outside of it, you know? It's called Eagle's Nest Camp. It's kind of a tradition. I think my father went. He was a kid in the sisters, and Isaiah's older half sister